Hello and welcome to all of you here today. My name is Hendrik and I work at Odoo as an account manager. Next to me is Marie.
Nice to meet you. My name is Mary and I work at Odoo as a business analyst, and I'm also a studio expert.
Today we are here to explain you Odoo Studio in a bit more detail. We will be presenting a use case. We will also be going through a couple of basic things, some tips and tricks and common mistakes, and of course a Q&A section in the end. Just for your information, if you have any questions at the end of the webinar or during the webinar, of course, feel free to leave them in the chat so we can answer them later on. So first of all, what is Odoo Studio? Odoo Studio is a tool created, of course, by Odoo. It is created to make smaller and a little bit bigger customizations to the standard package. And it is also thus covered by Odoo's upgrade services. It is most well known for its drag and drop design, which makes it easy and fun to use for beginners up to experts as well. Marie, onto that use case now. So what will we be presenting our viewers today?
So our use case today is a use case that we also present sometimes to our consultants for them to discover Studio as well. So this use case is quite simple. We are an NGO for animals. We gather animals that we find wounded in the nature, we put them in our center, and then we release them when they are healed.
Cool. So first of all, how will we be creating that first app? Can you show the viewers what we will be doing first?
Yes, so indeed, because we have this new reality that is that are the animals that is not represented yet in the database, we need to create a new model to represent these animals. We will also create an app to reach this model. So here I'm clicking on just the little studio icon to be able to create a new app. So creating a new app and creating a new model are two different things. The app is really the menu entry that allows us to reach the model, right? And one app can allow us to reach multiple models. So it's not one app per model, but it's just a menu entry that then we can reach some models. Here, I'll just name my app animals, right? Like this. I'll upload a nice picture for it. Okay, and then I will also find a name for my object, so my model. It's also going to be animals. As you see, it's written first object name because we, as I said, might have multiple objects in the same app. From here, since the V14, we have the option to choose our model's features, all right? So here, I'd like to have a picture for my animals. I would also like to be able to keep notes on it. And last but not least, I'd like to have pipeline stages to know if my animal is has just arrived or is in progress of healing, or if the animal is released, all right? So I can create my app and my model. All right, little connection. Let me try again. I'll go like this, picture, notes, create your app. And
let's hope that our local area network or Wi-Fi is not giving us too much trouble, but it seems that we're having a bit of a
I'll try quickly again. Sorry for that. Animal, upload the lion.
It's good that our viewers see it a second time.
Yeah, then you know how to create a model. Okay, right, and notes. Create your app.
Let's see. Are we good to go?
It seems to be working. All right,
yes.
So
cool.
We have this new app created. As you can see here, I'm connected directly on the form view of my first object, which is the animals. So from here, I'd like to add also a selection field that allows me to precise which type of animal I am handling. So is it a dog, is it a cat, or is it a crocodile? These are the three animals type that we are handling. So here, dog, cat, and crocodile. You can see that it's really fast to create this new field like this. I will also rename it so that I know I am choosing the type of animal every time, right?
All right, cool. So now we have created our first model, but I would like to know if we can link the veterinarian that will take care of this animal to the model that we have just created. Can we do that?
Yes, so Studio is also very good to create links, relationship between models. So in this case, we can create a relationship between our newly created model and an existing model, which is the very famous contact models, right? In this case, I'm just going to drag and drop quickly a many-to-one here. Okay, so why did I choose a many-to-one? Because many animals can be linked to one vet, all right? So here I'll go and link this model to the contact model, which is my target model, okay? And I will name it vet like this. So now I am able to choose for each animal the vet that will take care of it. And on the other side, on the contact form, I will also create the opposite relationship. So here I'll quickly go on the contacts, select this, okay, enter Studio again, and drag and drop a one-to-many. So the one-to-many is the opposite relationship, and when you create it, you have to select the many-to-one that was created just before. So you cannot create a one-to-many if there is no many-to-one existing. From here, I'll look for vet, my field that I just created, and it should be working fine like this. On this one-to-many that we'll name animals, I will not have to animals, that's fine. I will not have to populate anything because it will be automatically populated based on what I put on the many-to-one on the other side.
All right. So we've created the first model, but for example, I'd like to have a quick overview page of the animal that we're looking at. Would it be able to, would Studio help us to create, for example, a custom report that we can even print afterwards?
Yes, so it's also possible. Just before that, I'd like to import some data quickly so that we can actually create a report that we, in which we can see the data. So I'll just do it that quickly. So while importing, I can explain quickly what I'm doing here. These columns represent the fields that we created in the animals model. And so, yeah, it seems to be working fine. So we can import like this. I chose nice names for my animals, as you can see. Real names, let's say it like this. So now we have our animals. From here, so you asked a way to create a quick report, a quick PDF to have a quick overview of the characteristics of my animals, right? So indeed, Odoo Studio also allows us to do that by clicking here on Reports, then Create, and there I have three options, external, internal, or blank. External will display the logo and the footer of the company of your database, which is what we want. So I'll just choose this one, okay? And I can start dragging and dropping the fields that I like. So I'll just start with a title, which is going to be the animal card, right? So I'll rename it. Oops. Animal card. Like this. Then I can drag and drop, let's say first the photo of the animal. So, oops, it's animal image. And I can add the fields that I like. So I'll put just down here the name and the name of the vet, for example, name of the animal. And then the name of the vet. So you see, it's really quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can print this and put it on the room of the animal so that we know which animal is taken care of by which vet and what is what should the animal look like, for example. All right?
All right, cool. And so we've created a report as well. Let's say I want to see when an animal needs to go for a doctor's visit. So we want to send them to the veterinarian. When or how can we schedule that? And can we maybe even automate that action?
Yeah, so let's imagine that whenever you receive a new animal, you want to leave the animal 2 days in this center so that it gets used to the place, and then you want to make, after 2 days, an appointment with the doctor to do this medical analysis, okay, to know how to heal the animal. Because it's 2 days after, you might forget to do that if you don't automate a reminder to remember this. So we can automate this reminder by just entering Studio and creating an automated action, right? That is going to be first we need to name the automated action in a clear way. I always start with the name of the model and then a clear explanation of what I want to do. So reminder to take medical analysis. Like this, okay? So it's going to be based on creation. So at the creation, when we receive the animal, we want to plan a next activity. That's going to be my reminder. So to do 2 days after the creation. And it's going to be always assigned to me because I'm the one doing the analysis, right? So the to-do is going to be medical analysis needed, okay?
Okay.
So now we can test it quickly, because when we create automated actions, it's really important to test them right away. Let it load a little bit.
Odoo is now taking the time to set it up all in the background.
Exactly. So here I have it done. And I can create a new animal to see if it's going to work. So I'll name my animal Hendrik, for example.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So here I choose a vet and I save, and I see that I have my medical analysis that is automatically planned for in 2 days.
All right, that's really cool. So we've created a model, we've created a custom report, and we've shown the viewers how to create an automated action. But before you go and dive into Odoo Studio yourself in more detail, let's maybe, Marie, jump into a couple of common mistakes that we have encountered with Studio when we're also giving support to our partners and our customers. First of all, what are the things that we need to be cautious of when we use Studio? Are there any downfalls that we have to take care of, that we have to take into account?
Yeah, so actually, when we discover Studio and we discover what it can do, so we feel like we want to use Studio all the time, right? But the common mistake people do, the most common one, is that they start forgetting about the Odoo standard that is already very amazing, right? So it's really important when you start implementing something to explore the Odoo standard before you actually customize the database. So this is a really common mistake. I can show you, for example, this use case in which, let's say that we want to have the phone of the vet displayed on the animal form, right? Because we want to be able to call the vet quite quickly. So we need to have this phone displayed. Let it load. Oops, here I am. So if we don't explore the standard, we would just enter Studio, because we love Studio, we drag and drop this chart field, and in the field we can write down the phone of the vet, right?
Yeah.
So it means that every time we will create a new animal, we will have to write down the phone, and it's going to be a bit time consuming and so on. So that is actually a mistake. Why? Because if you explore the Odoo standard here, for example, you'll see that the contacts, they already have a phone configured, right? If you don't see the field that you're looking for here on the form or on the list view or anything, you can also explore the existing fields by clicking here on the little bug and then view fields. From here, you can start typing the field that you're looking for. If you don't know the name, just try, okay? And there I see that I have a phone field that I'm already able to use in standard, so I shouldn't create another one from scratch. The right way to go indeed here would be not to create this one from zero, but actually to create a related field that will allow us to use our standard phone from the vet, right? So I just take the vet here. All right. Click on the vet.
I think we need to ask Fabien to update our internet connection here.
I guess. Come on. I'll try again. So just related like this, then vet.
If it's not blocking us this time. I think our viewers must cross their fingers.
Yeah, everybody's stressing behind the screen. No, that's, anyways, you understand what I mean. So the good way to go would have been to create this related field to display the phone of the vet directly on the animal form, right?
Yeah, cool. I think the connection is just giving us difficulties because we want to create something that's already available in Odoo.
That's exactly it.
But let's say I have made a mistake when creating a field. So I've made a mistake. What would be the proper way to correct or even delete the field that I've created with Studio?
So the first reflex people have when they want to delete something that they created with Studio is that they just click on it.
They click on field. That's
Yeah.
what you're referring to?
Yeah, they click on the field and then they click on remove from view. So I'll just try to show how they can do that.
Maybe we can try and refresh the page.
Yeah. It's F5, right?
F11, I believe. Yeah, or you can move the mouse in the middle.
Let's just like refresh like this.
Yeah, see the connection there was interrupted.
All right, so we have it again. Great. So the first thing they do is actually they click on the field and they remove from view and they decide it's already enough. But actually removing a field from view doesn't delete the field from the database. So it's also important when you remove a field from the view to go to the fields list in the database like this, just by clicking, by typing fields. The right way to go is settings, technical, database structure and fields. And from here, you search for the field that you'd like to delete. So X Studio is the way you name, your fields are named when you create them with Studio. So they all start with this. And when you type here, you will see all the fields you created with Studio and you find your field that you'd like to delete, action delete. This way, the field is really gone from the database, all right? You will only be able to delete a field from this list if the field is not visible anymore in any view. So it's really good to remove from view first and then come here.
All right, that's a very good tip. But I just saw all these names in there. Do I need to remember these forever? Do I need to remember what I called that field? Or is there some sort of technical name behind it as well?
Yeah, so actually when you create a field, the field has, gets a technical name and a label. So another common mistake that happens when you create a field is that people don't rename the fields. Let's say, for example, I would like to have a text field to put some other notes. Okay, I'm happy with this one. I leave the studio, okay? And now if I check the technical name of this field, it's quite ugly, right? We don't understand this technical name as human. We don't know why this field was created for, and so on. So that's why it's really important when you drag and drop fields, when you create fields with Studio, to actually rename the label, all right, so that the technical name is also renamed. If you like the label already, you don't want to rename it, you have the option when it's the creation mode to only rename the technical name. Technical names are important because when you check, for example, the view, so I'm not going to go too much into details about what is view. Don't hesitate to take contact with us if you want to know more about this. But so when you go to this view that describes what we see, this is not understandable. So Odoo uses the technical names, but I, as a human, don't know what it is about. So it's why it's really important to rename your fields.
All right, cool. And I saw something before with related fields as well. So we tried to create one, but I've also seen the option between read-only and not read-only. Could you elaborate a bit on that?
Yes, so indeed, when we create related fields, so fields that display information from another model, these related fields, they are by default read-only. So let's, for example, take this use case in which I'd like to display on top of the phone of the vet, I'd like to display also the notes that are written on the vet's form, because I need to know, for example, if we can pay by card or if the vet is good with cats or dogs or something like this. But let's say that on top of the notes, I would also like to be able to modify on the animal forms only the notes that were displayed from the vet form. So in this case, the first reflex would be to create a related field again. Let's hope Odoo lets us this time. So vet notes. Here we have it. Good. So here we have our related field. I will rename it. And now I want to be able to modify this related field. By default, related fields, they are read-only, as we said, because they display an information that can be edited somewhere else. But if I want to be able to change the information here, the first reflex would be to remove the read-only condition. So if I click here, Odoo's not going to let me, because actually it's not a good idea to do that. But I could still try to force it by clicking on creating a condition that says that this field should be read-only when the ID equals A. So that's an impossible condition because the IDs are always numbers. So this is never going to happen. So my field is never going to be read-only. It's a way to force to remove the read-only condition, even though it's not a good idea. We'll just discover it why just right now. So here I have my note field that can be now edited. For example, it allows me to put in which room I should bring this specific animal, right? Which is something I just want to see on the animal form, but not the vet form. So I feel like, okay, it's working super fine. I'm really happy. But the problem is here. Now, let's say that you have a colleague that comes and edits the notes from this form view. Okay, let's say has a new degree in dogs, let's say it like this, then it's gonna, because it's a related field, it's gonna update the value of this field on the animal also. So it's not the good way to go. So let's never remove the read-only condition on related fields. The good way to go if we want to make this use case work is to create actually an automated action to copy-paste the information from the notes once when we create the animal, and then to keep these two fields independent. So I'll just do it quickly. Here, I'll just make sure we have our notes here. Yeah, we have. So we will use this notes field, Studio Notes it's named, and I will create an automated action to do that. So
It's at least good that it's showing loading and not doing anything else.
Indeed, it's good. I'll just refresh again, I think. All right.
You seem to be having an unstable connection here in this room, but
Yeah, that's fine. It will work, as it always does.
I think with all the equipment here, we might be undercut with the internet subscription. So let's hope we can get it back up and running. Yeah, there is no internet at this point, so let's try that again.
All right.
We're back up.
Yes. So
seems to have a bit of a difficult day today.
Okay. So let's create this automated action we were talking about. Animals is again the name of the model. And then what I want to say is that I want to take the notes from vet. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say on creation for animals that have a vet configured. So vet is set. All right. Then I want to update the record, and here what I want to do.
Let's hope it's not. This is just pausing.
Yeah, it's just thinking of what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Like,
He's trying to assess what you're trying to do. Let's hopefully then this time we're back up and running a bit quicker. Because this is
all right, we have
cool.
it. Okay, so what I want to do is that I want the notes field of my animal. I'll just make sure it's this one, X Studio Notes, it's this one, to be equal to the notes field of my vet. All right, so here I'm going to write down a Python expression, which is a little bit advanced, technically speaking, but don't hesitate again to come back to us if you want to be able to do that also in your databases. So X record, then X Studio Vet, and then comment. So record is the current record, so it's the animal we are looking at. Then X Studio Vet is the many-to-one that we created to target the contact model. And comment is the name of the node field on the vet form. All right? So from here, I'll just save and hope it works. So I'll close and try to create a new animal, right? I'll just make sure that we have a vet with a comment. So I'll take an example here.
Yeah, I'm not sure where we configured it before, but let's try and see if Daniel is Daniel the cat is having that configured yet.
Yeah, I think it has. It has. Daniel the cat. That's
luckily there's some good pictures to look at in between below them.
That's true. I realized we have twins, right? Sophia and Thomas. That's nice.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. Apologies once again for the rough internet connection today.
All right, so
yeah, so we're having some trouble here, but it has fixed before, so
yeah,
it should do this time.
Let's not lose the hope we have.
Yeah. Could I maybe ask you a question in the meantime?
Uh-huh.
I've seen that we received, or do you want to continue with this first, or?
Let's try to continue with this one. So I have Nicole Ford, that is a vet, so I'll just configure it again. So let's take Mary as a new animal. I'll put a vet to make sure we trigger the automated action. Nicole Ford. I'll save, and what I want to see is that, yeah, we have now the information of the vet just here on this field.
Okay.
And it's now independent from the field that is on the vet form, all right? Okay. So this one is not useful anymore, and this one is.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. Then on to the question that I've received myself, but also that I've seen in with my colleagues. In terms of the domain names, what would be our advice in terms of defining domain names for with Studio?
Yeah, so domains are used to reduce the amount of records that we can choose when we use a many-to-one or relational fields in general. So here we can take this example in which we are not allowed, let's say, to work with vets from Belgium because we have no agreement, let's say it like this. So we could create a domain to avoid choosing vets that have the country Belgium configured on their form. Okay. So to do that, we could decide to start like this, country, and say simply that the name of the country should not be Belgium. It is not equal to Belgium.
All right.
This will work to a certain extent. Why? Because here it will work, so I will just show it works first, and then I will show in which case it doesn't. So let me make sure that I didn't configure it wrong. So country name isn't equal to Belgium, that's good. So now let's configure that Nicole Ford actually lives in Belgium. Mm-hmm. It should be on the main company, so I'll just change it here. Belgium, all right? In this case, I'm expecting not to be able to see the caring vet company when I choose my vet. All right, okay. So I'll just go back to my animal.
It seems we have to do a lot of praying today for it to load.
Yes.
Makes the job not easier, but then we all know why we should invest in a proper internet connection. It is really not helping us today.
All right,
Are we
let's
back?
maybe go through there.
Yes.
Okay, maybe to make our lives easier, I will also delete this field. Maybe it's also this one that is making the database slow. So I'll just quickly remove it.
Just to be sure.
Just to be sure, exactly. So it's notes, I'll go X Studio. Note, it's this one. Yes, action, delete. Hope it lets me. Yes, good. Okay, so what we wanted to make sure is that now we cannot see this company that is Caring Vet Corporation. So I will just remove it from here and search for it again. Okay.
Has it saved the
domain? I'll just double check.
Case?
I'll double check that the domain is fine. Ah, the domain is not saved. Okay, I'll put it back. So country name is not Belgium. Belgium is good, right?
Yeah, seems about right.
All right. Now we do the test. Caring, so I can't choose my vet anymore because it is in Belgium. Now, let's say that you have multiple users in your database because your company is growing, and one of your users they don't speak English, they speak French, for example. So you will change for this user the language. So I'll just do it quickly for me. All right.
Wondering what you will change it onto.
So,
French, what a surprise.
Yes. So from here, we can expect Belgium to be not named Belgium anymore in the database, but Belgique, right? And for that reason, our filter will not work anymore. So here, if I search for Caring Vet Corporation, it shows again, which is not what we want, right? So I'll just switch back to English to make our lives easier. And then I will explain what we should do with this domain.
Now our viewers have also seen how quick it is to change languages, so that's good to see.
Indeed. So here, the good way to go is not to define the domain based on the name of the country, but based on the ID of the country. So to do that, I just go to the country model, and from here I search for Belgium, all right? There, I want to find the ID of the country. What is the ID? It's a way to, it's data that we put on each record of each model that allows us to identify this specific record. All right, so it's unique per record, per model. So to find the ID of the country, I just click on the bug and then view metadata. And the internal ID of this country is 20. So I'm just going to base my filter, my domain on this. Here I'll go back to my form view and change the domain. So here it's not going to be country name is not Belgium. It's going to be country is not 20. All right. And from here, this domain is going to work for any language. And it's also going to work, for example, if Belgium changes name, let's say it's called Belgian Federation or something, then it's still
this domain. You never know here.
You never know. Surprises, right? So yeah, now the domain's going to work.
All right, cool. And then maybe one last common mistake that we have seen, or that you could maybe explain to our viewers, is having standard views, but also having inherited views.
Indeed. So when you customize with Studio, when you drag and drop fields and so on, it creates an inherited view, and that inherited view is just let's say, plugged into standard views to have it together and see the standard Odoo plus what you customized, right? So if you're good with code, if you like coding and so on, you might already have explored a little bit Odoo and found out that we have these views displayed here. So this is just an explanation in code of what you see on this side, all right? So this is a standard view, so that shows the standard fields of Odoo. If you don't respect, let's say, the studio and you just go through the standard views, you could decide to just remove here a field because you don't want to have it, for example. So let's say you're not interested in the mobile field because this field is, you feel it's doubled with a phone, you just have one phone number per contact, it might be. Then you want to remove it from here to have not too much information in the same view. The problem, so let's just do it before. If you do that, it seems that it will work. So it will work fine here. We don't see the mobile field anymore. But when you will upgrade from one version to another, Odoo will push again the standard views in your database. So you will lose the changes that you did first. And second, it might be that Odoo pushes other parts of the code that are related to this standard view. And so it creates tracebacks and errors in your database because you touched to the standard view. So instead of touching the standard views, it's really better to use the studio to create inherited views and have it clean.
All right, cool. Thanks for explaining that to us, Marie. Of course, if you have any more questions, we'll be going into the Q&A right before. But if you're interested in speaking to experts or getting advice from experts like Marie, we have many others in our consultants team. I suggest to reach out to your account manager and to discuss the proposals for our partner packs, which means that you can make use and get help with your projects in order to make a bigger success for your customer. So let's jump into the Q&A and let's see if we can find any questions on the right side there, Marie. So I see a question from Bill. Thank you for that. How do the animal images display if they're given Google Drive links?
Yeah, so that's a technique we use. So we can import images. I think you understand what I did. You understood what I did here. While I imported images, I chose links from the internet that were hosting these images. In this case, these are Google Drive's links, but this part of the Google Drive is public. That's why I could simply import it in my database.
Okay, cool. I'll see another question there from Billy. Can I use Odoo Studio to create a customized app?
So yeah, you can use Odoo Studio to create a customized app as we did just right now. So I see you make a reference to create, read, and delete and update. All right. So we can use Studio also to manage the access rights. We didn't cover that today, but don't hesitate to come back to us if you have precise questions about this.
Okay, cool. And then I see a question from Tim. If I create custom fields for contacts, is it assured that these fields will be available after major updates, or do I risk that custom fields might be gone?
So when you do an update with, when you customize your database with Studio, these customizations are taken care of when we upgrade from one version to another. So you shouldn't be worried about that. It's going to be taken from your version to the next version.
All right, cool. So, for example, when people are following the Odoo experience in the beginning of October this year, they can, of course, see all the new features of Odoo version 15, and then our upgrade service will cover that for them.
Exactly.
All right, cool. Then I see one more question there as well, which reads, can the search in all the... Sorry, I'll start over. Can the search, like after dragging the related field, search in all the available models? In this case, you have to select the vet first, and then you can search like the phone number.
Yeah. So when you create a related field, indeed, you don't have options to search in every available model. The only models that you will see are the models for which we already have a many-to-one field on the model. All right, is that clear? For example, if I am on my animal model and I'm creating a related field, I will only be able to select the vet model or some other models for which we already have a many-to-one targeting the model.
All right, cool. Let's quickly see if there is another question in there as well. Do you see one more? Will Odoo allow the addition of the header and footer fields of an external report? Every time you try to edit it now, you get a message saying you cannot modify this view as part of the generic layout.
Indeed. So it's not possible to modify the header and footer of a report with Studio, but it's actually possible in standards. You actually don't need Odoo Studio to do that. Let me just get out of Studio right now, and I'll just refresh. And I'll just show you quickly here in the settings. That's really simple. You have the option to configure a document layout in which you can change the company logo, the layout, put a font, put a company tagline, a footer, and so on. So this is where you can change the footer and header of your documents.
All right, cool. I see one more question coming in from Eve. Thank you for that, Eve. What's the easiest way to migrate a Studio export to a module with Python code?
So it really depends on your module in this case. So I guess I'd rather analyze this more in depth with you before I can answer this question.
Okay. If, like Marie said, we'll get back to that, please reach out to us so we can reach out to you as well after that. And by that, I'll think we'll end the webinar, or is there any more questions that we have? No, it seems not might be a bit of delay, but of course we'll be, or we are available. You can see the email addresses here on the screen. We would like to thank you for listening and for your attention. Of course, if there's any questions, please feel free to reach out to Marie or myself. Contact your account manager, get in touch with your consultants through the partner packs, or reach out to your account manager for a quotation for a pack, or for more information around that as well. Once again, thank you very much for being here today, for watching this Odoo Studio session, and we hope to see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.